Hey, dude, we are live. What's up, guys? This is Dem Keys, and today we are going to be continuing learning about. Why did I say that as if we were. Well, yeah, we are continuing learning about pandas, but what we are doing is we are continuing with our Kaggle Learn journey. We are currently on the pandas course, more specifically on chapter. What's the chapter called? I think summary and mapping functions. Hold on. What's this notebook called? Give me a second here. Yeah, summary functions and map. Summary functions and maps. Yeah. Summary functions and maps. We are currently on this chapter. Yesterday I finished the indexing chapter, and dude, I'm gonna be honest here. If I would have approached, I feel this, that maybe if I would have approached learning pandas from the Kaggle angle, or rather if I would have tried to learn pandas through Kaggle, maybe I would have learned better. But then I can't really say that for sure, because I mean, even the other method that I used, which was learning from learning from the pandas website docs, that worked as well. That taught me a lot as well, because um, for those of you who don't know, the pandas website has a docs section, a tutorial section, in fact, not just docs. There's a tutorial section that helps you get started real quick. It I think both NumPy and pandas do this thing where they'll they'll show you practical uses. They'll teach you how to use these libraries, but through practical use cases. So they'll be like, okay, I want to do so and so thing. How do I do this? And then they'll give you the answer to that. And in that answer, they'll be teaching you a new concept or a different concept, like within the library. So this way they have multiple such questions, and each question teaches you a different thing about pandas, and this way you get to learn and explore the pandas library. That's actually how I learned and explored it as well. And I stopped whenever I felt like I was ready to just start doing practical stuff by myself and explore by myself. I didn't finish that entire tutorial section. So, I mean, if I would have taken the time to finish that entire tutorial section, maybe I would have known the little bits of knowledge that I didn't know. Because, like, okay, in indexing, the specific thing that I learned, because like all of the other stuff I knew already, I was just kind of like refreshing my knowledge. The specific thing that I kind of solidified my knowledge on was the lock and ilock functions, or lock and ilock accessors. I'm not sure what to call them. But yeah, basically, ilock can be used to retrieve rows based on index, and um, lock can be, well, hold on. I should say integer based index. Would that be accurate to say? Yeah. ilock can be used to retrieve data based on an integer based index, and lock can be used to retrieve data based on a label based index. So these two things, I didn't actually practice them when I was first getting started with pandas. That being said, I did know how to access, certain rows and stuff like that. And anytime I needed to do something that I didn't know how to do, I just Googled it, and there was the answer right there. So right there, I would get a chance to learn it. Um, but yeah, going through that section, it kind of, I feel like it filled in gaps of knowledge that I didn't have. So the overall knowledge that I did have, it kind of made it whole, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, I finished that chapter yesterday, And I was hoping to finish this chapter before starting today's stream, but well, it took me some time. So here we are. We are currently doing this chapter, summary functions and maps. I'm already halfway through it. I'm in the maps section, which is here. So I'm just gonna read this out. This is using lambdas, which is a concept in Python which I haven't really practiced a whole lot. Essentially, it allows you to create anonymous functions. That's the Python way of creating anonymous functions. So um, you can you can basically pass these functions in as arguments to other functions to do stuff. And I mean, that's not the only use case, but like that's one of the use cases. So it basically lets you create an anonymous function. I've explored the concept a little bit, but like not a whole lot. But because I know the concept of anonymous functions, so it shouldn't really be that hard for me to get into it. That being said, real quick, I could just try and refresh my knowledge of the lambda operator in Python. Python lambda. Lambda functions, okay. Yes, let's go to the current version. Okay, cool. Now where's lambda? Lambda expressions, there it is. Okay, lambda expressions, these are small anonymous functions that can be created with the lambda keyword. This function returns the sum of its two arguments. Oh, and they've given the example here. So, give me a second. I can test that out here. Actually, no, I can test that out. I can test that out in the notebook. I don't need to do it in my what do you call it? Um, I don't need to do it in my NeoVim environment. Okay, so this is a function, right? Lambda functions can be used wherever function objects are required. They are syntactically restricted to a single expression. Semantically, they are just syntactic sugar for a normal function definition. Like nested functions, lambda functions can reference variables. Wait, what? Like nested function definitions, lambda functions can reference variables from the containing scope. All right. Okay. Cool. So, let's define something here. A equals lambda x plus 1. So it's going to return this. So it mentioned that it's limited to a single expression. You can't do like multi statement kind of things. You can't do like a code block. So everything has to be like squeezed down into one expression. Now let's see what this returns. Yeah, that's it. So that is our lambda. Let's see if there's anything more complex. I think that's about it. Um, yeah, that's about it. Okay, the above example uses a lambda expression to return a function. Another use is to pass a small function as an argument. For instance, list.sort takes a sorting key function called key, which can be a lambda function. All right, so in our case, now we are going to be doing this using the map function in pandas. Great, cool. So we learned lambdas. I mean, I learned about lambdas before in in Python. Um, I just don't use them as often, so I kind of forget what they do and or rather how they're meant to be used, or how should I say this? I forget how to create them. Basically, I forget the syntax surrounding them and like any specifics that might be there surrounding them. But like I still know that yeah, it's an anonymous function. And shout out to C sharp for that, because in C sharp as well, man, I haven't touched C sharp in ages. That's crazy. I used to call C sharp my daily driver, but like I haven't touched C sharp in ages. To be fair, I don't have too many reasons to be touching C sharp, so that's why I don't touch it. These days, my focus has shifted more towards Python and Rust, and even game dev stuff that I'm planning on doing. I kind of want to do it using Rust as much as possible. So that's kind of why I'm not touching C sharp a whole lot. I feel like at this point, I would need to find excuses to do something in C sharp. Like I would need to find a reason to do something in C sharp as opposed to doing it in Python or even in Rust. And I mean, with Python and Rust, I have, you know what's interesting? I feel like Python, C sharp, and Rust are three different levels. You have Python, which is incredibly high level. You have Rust, which is incredibly low level. And then you have C sharp, which is kind of like it's kind of like in between Python and Rust. So like you can do low level, you can also do high level stuff. It's a very, very general purpose language, which was one of the reasons why I was able to do like a bunch of things with it. But like I just don't see myself using the C sharp ecosystem a whole lot these days. It's just kind of there in case in case if I ever need it. Anyways, give me a second. I just realized that I forgot to. There's also something here that I forgot to do. Okay, that's better. Yeah, I realized that I forgot to open up my stream manager. So give me a second while I open that up. Um, okay, great. Awesome. Right, so just a second here. Okay, all right. Moving on, we are going to be reading about the map function. I can read it from the beginning because, I mean, I started reading this off stream, but then I can start reading from the beginning anyways because it's not that long of a paragraph. A map is a term borrowed from mathematics for a function. Um, no, okay, let me restart that. A map is a term borrowed from mathematics for a function that takes one set of values and maps them to another set of values. In data science, we often have a need for creating new representations of existing data, or for transforming data from the format it is in now to the format that we want it to be in later. Maps are what handle this work, making them extremely important for getting your work done. This will be exciting because this is something. Okay, um, just to like recap what the summary thing was teaching. The summary thing was basically just telling us that okay, we can get a summary of um, various sections of our data frame. So I could get a summary of this entire data frame as an example. Wait, reviews. Okay, I need to rerun this whole thing. Or just rerunning the setup should be enough. Let that run, and then I can continue. Once that run is over, then we can. Okay, we should be good now. Where is it? I'm using. Wait, what was I using? Oh, here. Yeah. So the summary section was basically telling us that we can use methods like describe to get a summary of either the data frame. Actually, why does this only have points and price? Has the data frame been filtered or something? Doesn't seem like it's been filtered. Oh, maybe it's giving yeah, maybe it's giving the data for integer based stuff. Okay, anyways, carrying on. Additionally, we can also do something like, I believe it's this. Yeah. So you can use describe on individual columns as well to get specific details, and you'll get different types of details based on the data type. So in this case, country is usually a string. So you have this kind of description, this kind of a summary popping up. If I use price, I think it was, yeah, price is integers and floats. Well, in this case, mainly floats. So you get this kind of a what do you call it? This kind of a summary. And for additionally for integer based stuff, you can also use methods like mean and median. Um, I think STD might also be a part of this, standard deviation. I'm not sure though. Yeah, okay. STD is also a part of this. You can also do stuff like getting unique values. So, for example, if I want to get all the unique, and I only know all of this because I've done this practically. Like I mentioned before, I've used pandas for practical purposes and other proper projects of mine, which I need to redo those projects at this point. Yeah, I need to redo those projects because now I know so much more, and now I have like a very different working environment compared to what I had before. Yeah, yeah. I feel like certain projects that I worked on previously, I would be able to restructure them a lot better now. And additionally, I would be able to turn them into TUI based apps. Speaking of which, I need to get back to textual, dude. I kind of pushed textual to the side. There was good reason for that though, because I got busy looking at Rust stuff. On the Rust side as well, I need to move forward with Ratatouille, but I kind of want to get my basics down, my basics and slight advanced topics down first before I jump into Ratatouille. Because once I get those basics down, I feel like there's a ton of stuff that I want to do in Rust, and I think the first big project that I'm going to be doing is going to be my Stream AI voice app, um, and I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. That's actually something that I plan on making open source, and I'm going to work on the distributed version of it. Like directly, I'm going to work on the distributed version. There's not going to be three separate versions because I feel like that's going to take a lot of time. Like first, I'm going to work on the if I first work on the single-threaded version, then work on the multi-threaded version, then work on the distributed version. I feel like it's going to take a lot of time. Also, these three separate versions that I had planned, this was back when I was planning on doing it with Python, but now that I plan on doing it purely in Rust, um, multi-threading is going to be like it's going to be so much more. I'm not going to say easier, but it's what am I trying to say? Like getting multi-threading support is going to be much more easier. Of course, writing the multi-thread code might be a bit of a challenge, but I'm up for that challenge because Rust does support a fair bit of, like, it does have proper support for multi-threading. Like you can write, you have thread safe types, you have thread safe methods and stuff like that. So yeah, it should be an interesting experience. It'll be a good first project for me, and I'm excited for that because I'm going to be doing networking, I'm going to be doing async, I'm going to be doing multi-threading, um, I'm going to be using Onyx, I'm going to be like using AI models in it for my first project. Oh, I'm also going to be using TUI in it. So for my first project, it's going to be a fairly big undertaking. Should be fun. Should be fun. You know what I could do? I could work on two separate versions. There I go again. I'm doing the separate versions thing. I was about to say that I could work on two separate versions. One would be a CLI version and one would be a TUI version. In the CLI version, you would have to like launch the thing in specific ways and then just let it run. But then in the TUI version, you would have, a lot more control over stuff. I think I could write the code for the CLI version and then build the TUI version on top of that, or build the front end on top of that. Though I would have to get a proper understanding of how Ratatouille works before I'm able to do something like that. But yeah, dude, there's a fair bit of exploration that I have to do in Rust. Fortunately, I have my Gemini, uh, the Gemini tutorial that's helping me with it, and so far it seems to be helping quite a bit because I'm able to not just um, I'm able to not just get information from it. I'm also able to ask questions. I'm able to clear up doubts that I might have. And if for whatever reason I need to start up a new conversation um, to ask the question, just so I'm not muddying the current conversation, then I can very well do that as well. Though I think there might have been one point in the conversation where I felt the need to remind Gemini about about the chapters list, because when I said next chapter, it it kind of came up with its own next chapter. It wasn't following the list that it itself had made. So I had to remind it that, yeah, this is our chapter list. This is the chapter that we just finished, and this is the next chapter that we are supposed to be on. And then further from that point, it basically took the wheel from there, and everything else was smooth. So it wasn't exactly, bug free. I still had to supervise it a little bit, but for the most part, I was for the most part I was able to get it to teach me Rust, and I'm still getting it to teach me Rust because every other day I'll try to get through one chapter within the syllabus. Currently, we are on collections. I recently finished strings, and before strings, I finished vectors, and now we are moving on to hash tables. And I don't remember what the chapter is after that. Hold on. Where, where's the conversation? Um, just a second. I'm gonna get rid of the matrix rain real quick. Is this it? I don't think this is it. This is it. This is our conversation. We are currently on hash map, and I don't know if I should scroll all the way to the top because it says 809 something. I don't want to scroll all the way up in the scroll buffer. So instead, here's what I'm gonna do. Oh yeah, I have the thing open. I forgot, dude. I have the prompt saved elsewhere, so I have easy access to it. Just a second. Let me. Yeah, I have the prompt saved elsewhere, so I have easy access to it. We are currently on chapter 7. And in chapter 7, we have finished vectors. Chapter 7 is about collections. In that chapter, we have finished vectors and strings. And now we're going to move on to hash maps. Once we are done with hash maps, then we move on to chapter 8, which is generics. And that's a topic that should be interesting for me to learn because I completely ignored generics. Like, I just completely ignored it. I don't remember what my reasoning was. For some reason, even in C sharp, I kind of ignored generics. I learned like the basics of it, but I never really went too deep into generics. And I don't even have like a whole lot of practice with working with generics. That being said, it's not like I can't learn it if I need to. And in this case, I think this time I'll go ahead and learn generics because in the past couple of times that I've started and stopped and then restarted learning Rust, I for some reason explicitly ignored generics. Another thing that I ignored was multi-threading, but now I feel like now one of the reasons I'm taking the time to go into multi-threading is because now I can actually see the utility for it. I mean, it's not like I didn't see utility for it before. It's just that I had a feeling that I wouldn't be using it, and I didn't want to take the time to learn it unless I was going to be using it. That was kind of my excuse. When is multi-threading showing up? Chapter 8 is generics, chapter 9 is traits, chapter 10 is lifetimes. That was another interesting concept. I kind of remember the concept of lifetimes. I remember the simpler concept, but then applying the concept of lifetimes in structs and in generics, that's where I get a little bit confused. So hopefully that should like this chapter should help clear that up. That's chapter 10, lifetimes. Chapter 11 is closures and iterators. Chapter 12 is smart pointers, which goes into box, RC, and ref cell. And then chapter 13 is threads, message passing, and shared state concurrency. So that should be interesting. That's like we're close to the end at that point. Chapter 14 is unsafe Rust, where we'll talk about or learn about dereferencing raw pointers, calling unsafe functions or methods, accessing or modifying mutable static variables, and more stuff like that. Then chapter 15 is advanced features. Chapter 15 is our last chapter. Advanced features and best practices. This is where we'll cover stuff like macros, FFI, which is foreign function interface, testing best practices, and benchmarking. So this should be fun. This should be interesting. The thing is, I feel like I don't think I'm gonna move forward with starting working on my project until I've finished at least up to chapter 14. Because well, chapter 14 is where threads comes in, and there's also other concepts, not just threads. I also noticed that async was not mentioned here, so I'm gonna have to see where that fits in here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to see where that fits in. But yeah, okay, dude, we shouldn't talk about this right now, otherwise I'm gonna get way too distracted, and then we're not gonna make any progress with this notebook. Give me a second here. Let me bring my notebook back into focus. I was showing that, yeah, you can get unique values. You can also get value counts. So how many times was it count or counts? Maybe counts. Yeah. So you can get a count for how many times each unique value occurs in the entire, in this case, in the entire series. What else? What else? There were a couple of things. I don't remember all of them, but yeah, I just wanted to show that this is what they taught us in the summary section. So now we are moving on to the maps section, and the we just read like a small paragraph talking about how map can help. Now let's take a look at doing it practically. All right, there are two mapping methods that you will use often. Map is the first and slightly simpler one. For example, suppose we wanted to remean the scores. Remean. I've never remean. So like recalculate the mean of the scores. Okay. Suppose that we wanted to remean the scores, the wines received to zero. We can do this as follows. Okay, let's try that. So review, back up. What was the exercise here? Exercise. What is the median of the points column in the reviews? Yeah, okay, let's finish that. So reviews points dot median. Great, that's correct. Awesome. Let's see if there's any extra information that it wants to give us. Use the median function, a built-in pandas function like the mean function or the unique function. All right, cool. That is our. So I'm I feel like I could get into the practice of using the dot notation as opposed to trying to access it like a key in a dictionary, but I'm kind of used to accessing it as a key in a dictionary, though the dot notation is a lot more fluid, if that makes sense. However, I think in terms of readability, the key notation would cause less confusion, at least for me, because when I read it in that way, then I'll be reading it as, oh, this is a data frame, and this is the column that we are trying to access in the data frame. But if I read this reviews dot points, I would think it's a class, and this is one of the attributes of the class, or this is an object, and this is one of the attributes in the object, which technically yes it is, because pandas is allowing it to be presented in that way, but like I feel like that could cause confusion. But then this is a lot faster to write, if I'm being honest. I don't know, maybe I could mix it up. Maybe I could try to get into the habit of writing this, and after months of or years, I don't remember how long it's been since I've learned pandas, but yeah, after such a long time of doing the key notation style, maybe I might see this as being a little less hectic to write. Okay, what countries are represented in the data set? Your answer should not include any duplicates. Oh, nice. They gave a hint. So basically, they're looking for unique, right? So reviews country dot unique. Okay, that's done. Use the unique function to get a list of unique entries in a column. Great, awesome. How does each country appear in the data set? Create a series, reviews per country. Mapping countries to the count of reviews. Oh, so value counts. Wait, they use the word mapping. You know what? We're gonna try this and see if it works. If it doesn't work, then we can. How often? Okay, I missed the word often. So they're specifically looking for counts. Hopefully this should work. Yeah, this works. Great, awesome. So quite literally, like what all we learned there, they're making us practice it here. Okay, create variable centered price. Centered is median. Okay, I feel like I would have messed this up if I didn't know the meaning of median. Centered price containing a version of the price column with the mean price subtracted. Hold on. What? Create a variable. Note this centering transformation is a common processing step before applying various machine learning algorithms. Wait, are they talking about median or not? Let's take a look at the hint. To get the mean of a column, you use a mean function. That's fine, but like this question is kind of confusing me. Create a variable called centered price, which is this, containing a version of the price column. A version of the price column with the mean price subtracted. Okay, we'll try something here. Okay, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. First off, wait, are they just talking about median? They're not. Okay, all right. Expected to have a series. All right, fine. So then comes my second guess. I think we can do like we can apply one. We can apply this calculation to the entire series in this way. So let's do reviews price dot mean. So that's going to calculate the mean and then subtract it from every element in. Okay, that's what they wanted. All right. Backup. Is this where I could have used? Oh, this is where mapping comes in, doesn't it? This is where mapping comes in. So what if, okay, so let's say rp underscore mean equals this because it's in this example. I just noticed that it's in this example. They're making us do that exact same thing. So okay, let's do this. So we get the mean, and then we call map, where we pass in lambda x x minus mean. Give it a second here. Oh, that's taking some time. I also should have passed in RP mean instead of this mean, but yeah. Okay, this is taking some time. Wait, let me see on my other machine if this works. I don't know if my machine is just crashing again or what, but yeah, let's try that here. So let's do review points. Okay, let's say res equals um, give me just a second here. I have to do something. I just realized that. Okay. Wait, give me a second again. Okay, right. So what was I going to do? Res equals this. Wait, is that done executing? Okay, yeah, okay, so it was expecting me to use the map function. Okay, so here we can do no, you know what? We could just do it here. So res map lambda x and then reviews points, not points, price. Well, I mean in this case we could do points. Points dot mean. Oh, it's supposed to be x minus points dot mean. And then we print out res. Give it a second. Oh wow, dude, this takes some time. Holy shit. Well, to be fair, it's doing the cat. I just realized why it probably took some time. It was because we were operating on the entire series, which is like 130,000, you know, 130,000 values. And then there was also, well, I mean, in the case of the Jupyter notebook, I didn't try to print it out, but in my on my other machine, I did try to print it out. Anyways, moving back to the map thing. Let's let's see what more. There was supposed to be two functions, two map functions, right? Okay, so for example, suppose that we wanted to remean the scores, the wines received to 0. We can do this as follows. All right, the function you pass to map should expect a single value from the series. Yeah, I didn't think about that, dude. So with the map function, the function is going to make sure that it passes one value from the series, meaning it's going to be running once for each of the, or well, I mean internally how it decides to handle this, the implementation of this, that I don't know, but it's running this once per. Oh, wait. The reason it's slow is because we are calculating the mean as well each time. Hold on. Let me. I'm curious about this. I think that might have been what caused the issue because we are calculating the mean each time. So let's say rp underscore mean equals reviews points. I was about to copy it from there. Well, I was about to cut it from there, but then just typing it out seems to be so much faster than trying to copy it. And then here we can do RP mean, and that should run a lot quicker. Um, Give me a second. It's not. I just realized that I forgot to add the mean function in there. I forgot to call the mean function. So let this calculation finish. I think I think I might be wrong. I think regardless, because it's 130,000 values, so it's probably going to take a couple of seconds. What is it printing again? Wait. Oh God, what is it? Shouldn't this throw an error? Because the lambda is taking one value and then subtracting it from the entire series. And so then the series is returning what? A series? That doesn't make sense. Can I crash this? This is going to take some time. Um, okay, yeah, I made a mistake here. I made a big mistake here. I guess we can't really do anything other than let it finish. I need to make sure that this isn't like hogging a lot of my CPU resources. So give me a second. Let me just take a look at BTOP. Guys, just a second here. Um, Something happened because of which my system is having some issues. Let me try to open up BTOP in one of these and see what shows up. Okay, so the machine is still running, but like on the machine itself, I'm seeing um, on the machine itself, I'm seeing a different thing. Just give me a second here. Hopefully here I should be able to view it. Okay, so we are fine. Yeah, we are fine in terms of this. I'm not sure what's going on. Did the calculation finish? Oh God, I think the whole thing just crashed. That's crazy. Yeah, I think that entire NeoVim session just crashed. That entire NeoVim session just crashed. Fortunately, the machine didn't crash, which is something that I'm confused about. Um, the the desktop environment crashed, if that makes sense. But fortunately, everything else is running, which I'm still surprised by. Like, how is that still running? Everything else crashed. Wait, everything else crashed, but um, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. Everything else crashed. The entire desktop environment crashed, because of which all the running apps also crashed. Let me just make sure. Sorry, I did something here because of which issues. So I'm just gonna restart everything here, and we should be up and running soon. Just give me a second. Man, leave it up to me to fuck the thing up when it was going so well. Like we have not had any freezes, any crashes today, but leave it up to me to fuck everything up. Okay, local kitty dot app bin kitty. Um, that should be it. So we launch this and move it to the next desktop environment. No, to the next virtual desktop. And then here we need to do this. We also need to have btop open. Um, wait, just a second. I could do this thing so that you guys are able to see what's on screen. For the time being, I could take away this and take away that, and then I was about to hit stop streaming. That's crazy, dude. Okay, yeah, wait, check, testing, testing. We're good. Okay, so while I fix this, give me a second here because I need to remember how to open up. Actually, fortunately, I have my T journal thing set up. Okay, there it is. So now we need to open up the two locations where I'm going to do this. I also need to open up a bunch of tabs here. In one of these tabs, I need to have tmux. So tmux attach t other laptop. So this is what we're going to be looking at on the desktop. This is also what I'm looking at there. Okay, then let's enable word wrap here. Wait, what just happened? Oh, I disabled the wrap. Okay, so here I need to locate SRS. Where did I place SRS? Um, programs, I believe SRS, and then SRS and trunk. So we CD into that. And in the next one also we CD into programs, SRS, SRS, trunk. To start the SRS server, we do objs srs c conf rtmp dot conf. All right, the thing started up. I can also start up OBS now. Yeah, run it in normal mode. I can't believe I crashed the entire thing doing what I just did. I need to reproduce what I just did, but on a smaller data set. Because I think I tried to place a series into each cell. So I tried to place 130,000 elements worth of a series in each cell of 130,000 cells worth of a series. And that's what caused this issue. I think so. I'm not entirely sure. Give me a second here. Let me just set the thing up. So select that, share. Okay, we are good with that. Man, I'm glad that this is running on tmux because I fucked something up here that crashed. That crashed. That crashed the desktop environment. Like the screen went black and there was a blinking cursor and stuff, and then it kind of like restarted the environment on its own. But fortunately, the machine didn't restart, and so the tmux session was running, and so the tmux server was alive. Like hopefully all of my tmux sessions are alive. Okay, in one of these I need to place btop, so I'm gonna put btop here. Then here I need to open up Firefox, which is gonna open up here. This needs to come here, and we need to wait for Firefox to open up here. Give it a second. Okay, there's a restore option. Awesome. So that's going to open up the stream manager. Now, what else do we need? I need to have Yahtzee open. That's not necessary for this, like what we are doing right now, but yeah. Okay, I think we are ready. Let me just confirm. I might need to open up that application again. The application that's receiving the RTMP feed. Okay, so then I need to enable this background, which is going to show the matrix rain. It is not showing the matrix rain. Hold on. Wait, that's interesting. What is going on here? Oh, back up. Um, this is showing btop. This is not supposed to be showing btop. This should show our matrix rain. And then once that thing opens up, we will show the thing as well. Why is it saying cannot open camera? I wasn't trying to open the camera. Oh, did I not start streaming? I didn't start streaming, that's why. Okay, now it should receive and we are good to go. Great. Awesome. Oh, okay. So my little mess up caused the desktop environment to crash, which was interesting. Okay, so now we can... Oh, I need to also open up this thing here. Yeah, give me a second. I need to open... I think I did already. I just need to make sure that I'm able to call. what is it, etc slash init dot d slash srs status. And then next I can call stop. Okay, um, I think we are good to go. So now I can, actually, I need to close this session, and then I also need to open up a new window. In the new window, we get the current directory, which is, well, this is not the directory I was looking for. Oh, it's fine. VS Code, Python, I think it was Kaggle, Kaggle Learn, Pandas, and that is our environment. Okay, so source env bin activate, and then we open this up. So this is our project. Awesome. Okay, cool. Now let's not make that same mistake again. This time, let's do mean. And there's our IntelliSense kicking in. I'm tempted to try this out again. Even though I messed up the thing the last time, I'm tempted to try the calculation again. Let's see if it does something bad. Okay, Python 3.12 pi02.py. I'm curious. Okay, we are fine then. So this was much faster, right? I'm not sure what's going on with this, like why there's this thing here. Oh, okay, whatever. But yeah, the calculation is much faster now that we are, so it's able to do the calculation. Um, it's able to do the calculation on the entire series pretty quickly, which is something that that Pandas excels at, where you are able to perform calculations on entire sets of data at once, or even if it's not at once, then at least relatively quicker because it's much more optimized. Where was I going with this? Well, anyways, okay, so it's able to do the calculation pretty quick, but also the fact that it's not having to calculate the mean for every single, that was so dumb. I didn't think about that. I was just following the code blindly. I didn't need to do that. Like, I mean, to be fair, I'm not always thinking about optimization when I'm, especially when I'm, following the code from an exercise or something. But also, to be fair, they did put the mean into a different variable. So it was then, and at the time when I read that, I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to shorten the amount of code, but then that didn't make sense. It makes a lot more sense that, or the reasoning that makes a lot more sense is that they were trying to avoid doing the calculation for every single element, which would have happened in the case, if I put the thing into this lambda directly. Anyways, we are going to continue reading. Okay, the function you pass to map should expect a single value. Give me a second. Let me come here so you guys can also. Where is it? Oh, here. Okay, the function you pass to map should expect a single value from the series, um, a point value in the above example, and return a transformed version of that value. Sorry, zoned out. Um, should expect a single value from the series, a point in the above example, and return a transformed version of that value. Um, and map returns a new series where all the values have been transformed by your function. This is actually, yeah, I can see how this would be incredibly powerful for performing transformations. And I mean something a little more sophisticated than just regular arithmetic, regular, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and stuff like that. You can do slightly more complex calculations on each of the elements of the series. Okay, apply is the equivalent method if we want to transform a whole data frame by calling a custom method on each row. Oh, that should be interesting. I didn't fully get that. Let me read. Hold on. Um, reviews dot apply. Okay. Apply a function along an axis of the data frame. Sorry, zoned out. Okay. Apply a function along an axis of the data frame. Objects passed to the function as series objects whose index is either the data frame's index, axis 0, or the data frame's columns, axis 1. By default, result type equals none. The final result type is inferred from the return type of the applied function. Otherwise, it depends on the result type argument. Okay, this one is a little more complicated to understand. Let me see if I can get something from the example because I've legit never done something like this. What I understand is that it's returning an entire series. Um, or is it returning a data frame? Hold on. What is this? Oh, it could return a data frame or a series. I just realized we could have had a little more real estate here. Or I could just like cut the thing off. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the top bar of the browser. I just realized that I could have had that. Um, it's fine though. Whatever. Yeah. Okay. Remean points. So row dot points. Oh, that's our function. Wait, we are not passing in a lambda. We are passing in an entire function. Dude, I forgot this is a thing. I completely forgot this is a thing in Python. Even though I've done this like multiple times, but I don't do it nearly as often. I forgot that this is a thing where you can just pass in a function and then that function runs. So we could set up a similar example here. Let's say, okay, let's reuse res, but also let's define a function here. I don't know, some func o1 that takes in this and then returns a plus 1. So it just increments it. And then we can have a sum func o2, which takes in a value and is func a reserved thing? No, it's not. So it takes in a value and applies the function to that value. So return func val. Okay, so then we can pass in, then we can call. Oh, you know what? We can do that here directly. So sum func o2 equals res, and we want to pass in sum func o1 function. The interesting thing is, yeah, I remember you have to pass in the function like this. You have to pass in the function object. You don't really want to call the function itself. Let's see if this code even works. Yeah, yeah, there it is. So if I run that over and over again, wait, that's interesting. Oh, it's because the value of res is not being set. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. So if I would have done res equals sum func o, let's just copy this. Right, print res. Right, and then let's do this, and we want to paste it down, paste it down, paste it down. Yeah, there we go. So anyways, I spent an unnecessary amount of time doing this, but yeah, this is I forget often that you can just pass in functions. Right. So the apply function is, what is it expecting exactly? So reviews dot apply. Okay. Just a function. Okay, it's expecting just a function. Function to apply to each column or row. If axis equals 0 or index, what? The axis is 0 or index, so it would apply it to the column or to a specific row. I'm assuming index means like it's going to apply it to the row. Oh, holy shit. No, I got it the other way. I got it the other way around. So index means it'll apply the function to each column, and column means it'll apply the function to each row. What? Right, there's something I'm like really missing here. Give me a second. Let me just confirm everything is working. Yeah, we are good. Okay. I feel like I'm missing something here. Let's take a look at the example. So in this function, called remean points. We are doing row dot points equals, so we are passing in the entire, we are passing in an entire series, which I'm assuming is a row because it says, oh, it does say row. So row dot points equals so and so, and then it returns the row. So it's performing a calculation, it's performing a transformation on something in that row, and then it's returning the row. So I don't have to, I don't have to perform a calculation on everything in the row. I can just change something, right? So, okay, we could change, yeah, we can just go with this example. Reviews dot apply remean points access columns. Okay, cool. Let's see what kind of transformation it is. Wait, let's continue reading this. I was about to say let's continue with the exercise, but let's see what this is saying. So if we had called reviews dot apply with access index, then instead of passing a function to transform each row, we would need to give a function to transform each column. Note that map and apply return new transformed series and data frames, respectively. They don't modify the original data they're called on. If we look at the first row of reviews, if we look at the first row of reviews, we can see that it still has its original points value. Oh, oh, okay, okay, that's what they meant. It returns a new transform. So that's kind of what was stopping me from testing it out, because for some reason I was like, okay, maybe it applies the transformation in place because, um, what was it? I think it was NumPy, or maybe in PyTorch, tensors, something like within these, there was a thing where it applies the transformation in place. It does the calculation in place. It doesn't really return something to you. But that's not like a, it's not like a, that's not like a general rule of thumb. It's just in certain cases, it'll perform calculations in place, so you don't really have to reassign a variable. Okay, now def remean, we can just I don't know, say zero out. So we'll set the entire thing to 0. Now, what was I gonna do? Yeah, row dot, um, I need something that's gonna be viewed. I need something that's gonna be viewed. Hold on. When I do a regular print, then what shows up? Reviews dot head. I mean, which columns show up? So country shows up, and then I'm not sure what the name of that column is where it's showing white blend, but countries shows up. Okay, we can change. Yeah, we can do that. So instead of 0, we're gonna do lamau. So row dot country, I'm not used to this notation, equals lamau, and then we return. Wait, why is it not? Oh, because of this. There we go. Um, return row. Great. So now we could do apply and then just read the result of that head. So that's our function. and the axis equals columns. So let's see what the result is. Oh God, is it about to crash again? No, okay. I guess applying the string was taking a little extra time. Something seems odd here. Something seems odd here. I think I need to zoom in more. Yeah, that's better. I was like, hold on, something seems a little bit off here. Things seem a little small. But yeah, okay, we are good now. Okay, all right. Great. So we have understood this, and now we can move on to the next thing. Wait, let's see what more is there. Okay, Pandas provides many common mapping operations as built-ins. For example, here's a faster way of re-meaning our points called. I need to look I need to look into the definition of re-meaning because like from my point of view it's just like recalculating the mean, but I don't know if that's what it is here. Also, why are we having to re-mean if mean is a function? Like it's supposed to be calculating, right? It's not giving you like a cached value unless it actually is giving you a cached value, in which case, yeah, recalculating would make sense. But then, like, having it as a method doesn't really make sense. I need to look into what remeaning is and why we would need to do that. Maybe further down, like as you're working with the data set, after you've transformed it a bunch, or let's say a specific column in the data set, you've transformed it a bunch, then yeah, you might need to recalculate the mean. And okay, it could also just like re-meaning could also just be recalculating the dude, I don't know. Hold on. I don't get what re-meaning is. I'll look it up later on. It's fine. For example, here's a faster way of re-meaning our points column. Review points mean, okay, and then review points minus mean. Yeah, I'm starting to think maybe re-meaning isn't recalculating the mean. Maybe it's something else. I need to look this up now. Hold on. Also, you guys need to be able to see what I'm looking at here, which is this. This is what I'm looking at. What is re-meaning in data science? Am I reading this word wrong? No, it says re-meaning. What does that mean? Hold on, let me open up one of my Gemini conversations. Um, I think this one should be fine. Do I have any open here? Any blank ones? This one is Kaggle instruct. All right, let that open up, and in the meantime, I guess we can continue reading. Okay, I'll look up what re-meaning means. So in this code, we are performing an operation between a lot of values on the left-hand side, which is everything in the series, and a single value on the right-hand side, which is a mean value. Pandas looks at this expression and figures out that we must mean to subtract the mean value from every value in the data set. Pandas will also understand what to do if we perform these operations between series of equal length. Oh, so then it'll do an element wise operation, right? For example, an easy way of combining country and region information in the wait, this is showing something else. Wait, hold on. I didn't know this was a possibility. So I was talking more about like um hold on, let me see if I can actually demonstrate that here. So let's say I don't know, SO1 equals PD dot series, and I think we should just be able to do this, right? Then SO2 equals PD dot series, and then we do 5. Okay, then what if we did what if we did SO1 plus this plus SO2? What's that gonna though I don't know if it's gonna perform concatenation if it's an integer. I don't know if this is gonna work. But the good news is that if it doesn't work, then the program's not gonna like freeze the machine. Add did not contain a loop signature for matching type in 64. Okay, yeah, that was the issue. So let's give it a couple of strings, and then here we can just do a, 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 and a. Holy shit, dude! I need to keep that in mind. No, I need to keep that in mind, definitely. I don't remember ever having done this for strings. I've done this kind of an operation for though okay, I'm curious now about like an actual element wise operation because it did do the element wise operation, right? Wait, before I test that out, what if I do something like this? Oh, that I mean that question is already answered, right? Because if I do something like this, then it just puts a hyphen. Because so if it's a single element, then it's gonna just apply that. Okay, now let's undo all of this and do a proper integer operation. Yep. All right. Cool. Great. See, I was wondering at what point are they gonna talk about like the element wise and like the um I don't even know what you call it when you're passing in when you're able to perform an arithmetic operation of one value on the entire series. I'm not sure what the word is there, but yeah, series plus value and also series plus series. I was wondering when they're going to talk about it, but uh, they just covered it, so that's great. Okay, these operators are faster than map or apply because they use speedups built into pandas. All of the standard Python operators and like so and so work in this manner. However, they are not as flexible as map or apply, which can do more advanced things like applying conditional logic, which cannot be done with addition or subtraction alone. That makes sense. Okay, now time to finish this notebook, which I left idle for long enough that the session stopped. So I might need to reload. Oh, here's the mistake that I had made as well that caused this thing to take some time to complete. Okay, so this thing is running. Now let's try to run this. Or do I need to run the first cell again? Yeah, I think I need to. What's the error? Reviews is not defined. Let's run the first cell again, load the data set again, and then we can continue. It was here, right? Yeah, okay. Great. So now I know about map and apply, which I didn't know about before. I knew about the element-wise operations and applying operations to the entire series using just one value or using arithmetic operators. Oh, is it done? Sorry, zoned out. Okay, so let's apply this. That is correct. Great. Let's take a look at this. This is great, dude. Yesterday as I was going through the pandas exercise, the previous pandas, what do you call it? Actually, yeah, the exercise and the tutorial as I was going through the previous chapter, which was indexing, selecting, and something else. Um, I was thinking about the fact that I used to have this issue, and every now and then I do have this issue with pandas where I'll kind of forget how to do stuff in pandas. And the reason that happens is because I don't use pandas for every project that I'm working on. Um, but I think once I start doing a lot more data science stuff, then I'm going to be working with a lot more. Um, then I'm going to be working with pandas a lot more. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to start participating in the competitions. Or if they have anything else going on that is not necessarily a competition, but maybe just a fun little challenge that someone has put forward, I should start participating in those things as well. Aside from, giving me the experience of participating in a competition, it's gonna give me more experience of doing data science stuff. So working with NumPy, working with pandas, working with matplotlib, and in this case, Seaborn, because they aren't even making us go down to like the basic matplotlib level. Um, oh shit, encoders, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the raid. Welcome raiders, actually. Hello, hello. Encoders, thanks for the raid. Yo, it's been a while. How are you doing? We are currently going through the Kaggle learn, what do you call it? We are going through this whole, wait, multiple keyboards here. Let me just do this. Let me give you a shout out real quick. You guys should go check out Encoders. Yeah, hell yeah. Go check them out. Encoders, thank you very much for the raid. Thank you for bringing your community here. Everyone, welcome. I am Dem Keys, and I do study streams. I do a lot of study streams and co-working streams, and uh, I'm either I'm usually either learning something on stream or building something on stream. And today I am doing Kaggle Learn. More specifically, we are going through. Where's my keyboard? Here. More specifically, we are going through the Pandas course in Kaggle Learn because I wanted to finish this entire course and get the achievement of it. But also, just going through this course is also filling in the little gaps of knowledge that I was missing with pandas. Because I learned pandas a while back, and I've used it for projects practically. I've used it in my practical projects, but I didn't really get a chance to dive into like the more advanced stuff, and there were also little bits of information that I was missing here and there. We are getting to a lot of the interesting parts. Like today we looked into the map function and apply function, which I didn't really touch those back when I was doing stuff with pandas. I did a lot with like summary function or summary based functions, stuff like describe and mean and median and stuff like that. But I didn't really do anything with map and apply. So that was fun to learn. The next chapter is going to be grouping and sorting, which should be fun as well. I just got done reading this entire chapter, and now I need to finish this exercise notebook. You guys should definitely, like, if you are interested in data science, if you're interested in learning data science and machine learning, definitely head over to Kaggle, make an account there, and you can start learning this. They have this entire multiple courses actually, not just one. Let me show you guys. Um, this is Pandas, and this is Kaggle Learn. Give it a second to load because I didn't open this in a bit. Yeah. So this is the Kaggle Learn page, and here you have a bunch of courses. In order from the top, it goes with the intro to programming, then it goes to Python. So it's going to teach you the basics of programming itself. Then it'll teach you Python basics and a tiny bit of advanced stuff, but it gets you well comfortable with the language. That's what's important. And after that, it'll take you to Intro to Machine Learning. And next is Pandas, the Pandas chapter. After the Pandas chapter, there's Intermediate Machine Learning, which I'm looking forward to next. And then there's also Data Visualization, which the interesting thing is it doesn't take you to um, hold on. Yeah, the interesting thing is that it doesn't make you start with matplotlib. It makes you start with Seaborn, which is something that's built on top of matplotlib. Okay, encoders, you said I think for starting to learn is good, but if you have a real project to apply and fail, I think that's much better. You don't always have that though. Hold on. I think for starting to learn, it's good. Oh, you mean the Kaggle platform? But if you have a real project to apply, yeah, okay. So here's the interesting thing, right? I based on this, I remember people mentioning that there's a massive difference between working on data sets that are working on data sets that you find on such platforms versus working on real world data sets, because real world data sets apparently they tend to be a lot more messy, and real world data sets are like very different than the very well curated and well sanitized data sets that we'll find on platforms like Kaggle. Though I'd imagine if people are trying to go for more realism, in then with certain data sets they might actually make them messy on purpose. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean. I At some point later maybe I might look into, oh, there's okay, I do have certain, I can look into that later. For now I kind of want to learn the basics, but yeah, at some point I do want to go into um doing like working with like real world data sets as well, because it tends to be not as it's not the same as the data sets that you'll find on like websites and all. Apparently real world data sets are quite messy, so that should be a fun challenge. But for the time being, I want to get all the experience that I can with the data sets from Kaggle, and hopefully, I'm hoping that some of the data sets from competitions will be on the messier side as well. But anyways, okay. If you guys wanna get started with data science, definitely check out Kaggle. Now, carrying on with this, I'm an economical wine buyer. Which wine is, oh, for context, we currently have this data set loaded. This is a wine reviews data set, and we are doing some stuff using pandas with this. Okay, I'm an economical wine buyer. Which wine is the best bargain? Create a variable bargain wine with the title of the wine with the highest points to price ratio in the data set. Oh my God. Hold on. Hold on. Which wine is the best bargain? Now, how do I find the best bargain? The best bargain would be price, right? Create a variable bargain wine with the title of the wine. So we're supposed to get back up. Um, let's first see what this returns. So reviews dot title, no, reviews dot head dot title. I think that should do it, right? Yeah. Is this it? I think this is it. I think this is it. Okay. Right. So let's how many different wines do we have? Yeah, I think these are wines, right? Give me a second here. Okay. So, where was I? Yeah, I think these are wine. Hold on. Is this all that we have? How do I this returns a series, right? Is this all? No, this can't be all. No, no, no. This isn't all. I just noticed the three dots here. This isn't all. There's more. How do I count this? Can I just do count? I can't just do count. Hold on. I need to do this on a machine that has IntelliSense. This is a series or what is it? What's it returning? Okay, let's do reviews dot title dot unique okay, type. Yeah, let's print that out. Oh, it's an ND array. It's not returning. Okay, so in the ND array, how do I get a count of all the what if I just print this out? How big is the result going to be? Yeah, no, it's still like compressing it. It's still compressing it. This is an ND array, right? Let's do import numpy as np, and okay, a equals np dot I I forgot what it's supposed to be. np dot array, or this returns an array. np dot nd array. No, let's just do array. Okay, so that's our array. Then a dot count. Oh, can I just use len? I just realized that I could probably just use len. Hopefully this works. Oh wow, holy shit. They have 100 and they have 119,000 different titles. All right. Okay, let's try so title unique, that returns an nd array. Now let's just get the series. Hopefully it shows the title as well. Oh, we could do this. So is head 10 gonna give 10? Right, it gave 10. And then I could get the title from each of those. I'm assuming this is, yeah, okay, I'm assuming this is what it's asking for. So that's our title. We're supposed to store the title of, give me a second. My thing started to freeze. Okay. All right. I'm an economical wine buyer. Which wine is the best bargain? Create a variable bargain wine with the title of the wine with the highest points to price ratio. Highest points to price ratio. How do I calculate this? How do I calculate this? I haven't touched ratios in a while, so I don't. Hold on. Let me try asking Gemini. Okay. How do I calculate a something to something ratio? Actually, okay. Given a table with 3 columns, wine name, points, and price, how do I calculate the wine? Dude, I'm having trouble with the math here. Not like once I understand the math, I'll be able to apply it. I'll be able to apply it in pandas easily. But what I'm having trouble, what I'm having trouble with here is the math itself. How do I calculate um, the wine with the highest points to price ratio? Let me try and understand the math, then I can apply it easily to. Actually, Okay, if there's complex calculations to do here, not really complex, but if there is like multiple lines of code to write here, maybe I could use apply. Do I need apply? No, we're not transforming anything here. We're trying to read. Okay, hold on. Um, redo the response, please, but don't take any actions. Just just give me text. Of course, here's how you would calculate the wine with the highest points to points to price ratio. The general approach is to create a new ratio score for each wine by dividing its points by its price. Okay, all right. A higher ratio means more points per dollar, indicating better value. All right. So then if I did something like, wait, now if I did something like points divided by reviews dot price, this is going to return the entire, like, yeah, it's going to return a series with, oh, okay, the best, right? So if this is a series, do I have like a max function here? Would the max function, so would a higher ratio be better or a lower ratio? A higher ratio means more points per dollar, indicating a better value. Okay, all right. So let's try that, I guess. So reviews dot points divided by reviews dot price, and then we take the max out of that value. Actually, no. Oh, wait, hold up, hold up. Um, best ratio equals this. Best ratio equals this. Now, what am I looking for? I need to get the index of I need to get the index of the cell that has the best ratio, and then I can pull the bargain wine name from there. Let's take a look at the hint. See what the hint is saying. The IDX max method may be useful here. Okay, let's see what IDX max does. So say reviews dot IDX max. IDX max returns a series. Hold on, is there no information on this? That's the only information. Numeric only, skip NA, and then we specify the axis. Oh, hold up, hold up. Does this give the ID of the max value? Okay, all right. Let's try that then. So then we probably don't need, yeah, we can just copy this entire thing. Um, Reviews. How am I? Oh, iLock, iLock. Do that, and then IDX max. So we get the row that we are looking for, and then we get the column. The column is supposed to be title. Is that? Oh, it's a function call. I okay. Yes, yes. Okay. All of my errors. Now we're getting the proper error. Let's see what the problem is. Can only index by location with an oh yeah, yeah, okay. Right. Yeah, that's my mistake. Oh, you know what? No, wait. Can we do like two string? No, this returns a series. Hold up, this returns a series. Am I not supposed to do this then? And after that, can I pass it in as str? This expression looks ugly as hell, but if it works, it works. So then I'll change iLock to lock. No, that caused a problem. Invalid index to scalar variable. What does this return? Let's take a look at what this. Wait, let's copy this here and okay. Let's do this, and let's not specify any. Okay, so once we've done that, we could probably do this. Yeah, okay, that works. Now, this will only work if I've got the Oh, I did. Okay, I got the calculation right. Awesome. There's no way I would have been able to do this if I didn't know how to calculate ratios. And I don't do ratios like that often. So I completely forgot how you calculate ratios. It's one of those topics that like I find myself having to revisit every now and then. Though this might be one of those things as well that as I start doing more data science stuff, I'm going to start doing this more commonly, more a lot more often, and because of that, I might remember it better. I need to revisit the idea of ratios again, though. Yeah, I need to revisit that. It's kind of like how every now and then I would have to revisit the concept of the logarithm. Um, yeah, yeah. Anyways, so that's done. Awesome. Right. There it is. That's exactly okay. Cool. Okay. Um, okay, there are only so many words you can use when describing a bottle of wine. Is a wine more likely to be tropical or fruity? Create a series of descriptor counts, counting how many times each of these two words appears in the description column in the dataset. For simplicity, let's ignore the capitalized versions of these words. Oh God. Okay, hold on. Right, so there seems to be a bit of transformation that I might need to do here. Give me a second. Let me hydrate, and then we'll continue. Actually, give me a second. Let me get up and walk around a little bit because I've been sitting for a while. So just 2 minutes. Okay. All right. So there are only so many words you can use when describing a bottle of wine. Is a wine more likely to be tropical or fruity? Create a series of descriptor counts containing how many times each of these two words appears in the descriptor, appears in the descriptor column in the data set. Okay, so first let's try to get a summary of the descriptor. So um, reviews.descriptor dot summary. Or was it summarize? Oh, describe. That's what it is. Data frame has no, okay. Description. Okay, that's what it is. Is why was I reading it as descriptor? Because the variable's name is descriptor counts. Okay, all right. Awesome. Okay, can value count or counts, I think. Can value counts Okay, reviews dot, say A, and then we can print out A. So that way I'm not dropping everything into, yeah, cool. Reviews dot description dot value counts. Okay, right. Uh, I did not realize that the descriptions were, I didn't realize that the descriptions were sentences. Okay, this is, I believe it's a series. Yeah, it's a series. Um, what was I forgot what I was gonna do. Oh yeah. So I'm trying to get the description. Okay, I need to count the number of times. Wait, does value counts take anything as, uh okay, it doesn't work for that. What if I did it for this? So1 dot value counts. Do you have a description here? Yes, you do. Okay. Okay. Normalize, sort, ascending, bins. Okay, return a series containing counts of unique values. The unique values in this case would be the strings. I need, no, that's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. No. So we are trying to find out how many times the word fruity. Okay, this is actually helpful. For simplicity, let's ignore the capitalized versions of these words. We'll look specifically for these words. Okay, so I guess I could perform. What is it asking me? Okay, create a series descriptor counts containing how many times each of these two words appears. Containing how many times each of these two words appears. Real quick. I think I should be able to set the index here, right? So I can say A, B, C, and D, and then print out SO1. Right. So I'm guessing they want uh, our result to be a series. Okay, we can say tropical underscore count equals 0. And then what was the next one? Fruity. Fruity underscore count equals 0. And we will supply that to this. So it's supposed to be tropical and fruity. Okay, now for each, now we can iterate over the entire data set, though we don't need to iterate over the entire data set. We need the entire um, description series, right? So we can do, yeah, let's just say description equals reviews dot description. Okay, now that we have reviews dot description, we can, how do I make it in such a way that, hold on, apply, apply returns, apply, okay, I could use apply here. I could use apply. Wait a second. So let's define count, or let's say word count. Okay. Um, for now, return 0. But what this is supposed to return is a series. Actually, okay, yeah. So then we can do pd.series. For now, let's do 0 and 0. We can later add something to that. And then index equals tropical and fruity. So that's going to be our series that we return. And we need to apply, we need res here. Res equals reviews dot, does series have, hold on, let's see if series has an apply function. Okay, a series has an apply function as well. No, you know what, let's not complicate it for now. I'm curious though, hold on. um if I did do apply in the case of series, okay, invoke function of values, no, invoke function on values of series, and then this can return series or a data frame as well. Can be ufunc or a Python function that only works on single values. You know what? I could do that. I could do that. Yeah, yeah, I could do that. And then so we could say res equals reviews dot description dot apply word count axis. Wait, something is wrong here. Oh, maybe IntelliSense is not able to detect the thing. So let me just make sure here. Apply func. Oh, it's because it's a what do you call it? Wait, no. Yeah, so I was about to say that it's because it's a series, that's why it doesn't have that axis argument, but is that true? Yeah, I'm not seeing an axis argument here. Okay, that might be it then. You know what? For the sake of not complicating things, let's do this. Okay, we have access here. We want this to be executed on every row. So we're going to say columns. And then in here, we want to pass in row. Now, for each row, we want the description, row dot description. Okay, I'm curious about something, so I'm gonna try this, and let's see if this works. I'm gonna I'm gonna apply this on the first 5 values of reviews. Oh, it worked. Okay, hold on. Did it work? No, wait. I'm only seeing one value there. Maybe I just need to scroll up. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so there's our description. And dude, I wonder if pandas has like a contains method. Like, okay, let's say the word and. Okay, so this is a series, right? Um, Give me a second here. Let me just test this out. Is in. What does is in return? Is in returns a series. Is in is being called on this series, but it then returns. Um, Wait, isn't this just gonna return? Oh, it returns a Boolean series. I could get the Boolean series. Is in. Okay, the value can be a set or list like. Hold on, I need to read this. Okay, parameters, values. The sequence of values to test. Passing in a single string will raise a type error. Instead, turn a single string into a list of one element. So we can pass. Okay, all right. Okay. Um. Wait. Then would I even need this apply thing? I could try something else here. We already have tropical count and fruity count. Hold, hold on, dude. I'm trying to. Okay, let's construct a series here. Let's say SO1 equals. So here, let's go with SO2. In SO2, let's say this is a sentence. Here is another sentence. Uh, I am saying a sentence here. What am I saying? Okay, so we have something with with repetitions here. Okay, so we have the word is. We have two of that. Okay, let's add another thing here. This is yet another sentence. So we have the word is. Let's add that trailing comma so it doesn't collapse, and we're good. Okay. We have the word is three times. We have the word sentence four times, and we have the word this two times. Now let's try something here. This underscore count equals so2 dot is in this. So that's going to return our Boolean array. And then we use the Boolean array to access this and get a count of what it is, right? Now let's not do the apply here. Let's also delete this. And let's print out this count. See if I got it right. Cannot access count for backup. Wait. Let's see if it works anyways. Okay. It gave 0 though. So that didn't help. Wait, what's the error? Cannot access attribute count for class so and so. Count is unknown. Um does this not work for whether elements in a series are contained in values? All right, let's try let's just try printing this out. Okay, so2 dot is in this. No, it's returning false. Oh, is in doesn't it doesn't do the contains thing. So if I, for example, if I did this is a sentence, then it would return true for one of them. Oh, that's yeah, okay, that's the problem. See, I'm trying to find a way to Okay, what if I tried to construct a Boolean array using list comprehension, but then list comprehension would be super slow. And if I'm going to be doing that, then I might as well just use the apply method then, right? Yeah, if I'm going to be doing that, then I might as well just use the apply method. Let's comment this and continue here. Okay. Um, okay, wait. So we have access to the entire row here. In the entire row, we we take out the description, right? And then hold on, this is per oh yeah, this returns the entire series, doesn't it? So word is in. Actually, I don't know how to, let's say tropical is in. There's probably a better way of doing this, but I'm gonna go with this for now. I'll define two separate functions because I'm not sure pass uh, how to pass the parameter into that function, if that makes sense. Though I could compress both of them into one, I could like combine both of them into one function, and then I could like kind of and them together. No, I could OR them. I could OR them together. That could work. Okay, so let's do word count or word is in, because in the end we're going to be getting a count of hold on, temp underscore res equals reviews dot apply, and we want to apply word is in axis columns. Okay, so that's going to give us our series, right? This is supposed to return, it's not supposed to return this series, it's supposed to return a Boolean series. And then based on that Boolean series, we want to do this and then get a count. Okay. Yeah, that should work. Okay. All right. So here I'm going to try and construct a Boolean. No, you know what? Okay. I feel like I might be. Okay, so let's say tropical is in. And then we'll create another one for fruity is in. Let's just do pass for now. Right. So then these can come here, and these would be This actually. Yeah. Tropical is tropical count? No, tropical is in. And then we get the count of that, and then we do the same thing for this. And here we want to do fruity is in. Finally, we would then construct our series here, which would be tropical count and fruity count. Okay, now this only works if I'm able to pull this off, if I'm actually able to. Because, okay, what if I did description? So description is, at this point, what is description at this point? I'm gonna assume that description is a string, and if description is a string, then this is a sentence dot um, find. What's the oh, just a second. Yeah. What was the function to find if a string has something? Python find if string contains substring. In. There's something called in. No, there's index. Oh, just okay, okay, all right. Okay. You know what we could do? We could test out this so return tropical in description. Okay, if I've done this correct, then we should be fine. Let's try running this. Oh my God. Okay. Can I stop this? Yeah, that was my fault. That was definitely my fault. Okay, cannot mask with non-Boolean array containing so and so. Right. What line is this on? Cannot mask with non-Boolean array. Wait, back up. I wanna create a duplicate of this over here. Okay, hold on for a second here. I just noticed the time. So give me a second. Okay, we're gonna go check out this person's stream. I'm not sure. Okay, I like this person's, and their chat is verified accounts only. Okay. You know what? Okay, let's do this. I hope this is not like follower only or verified accounts on. No, okay, we're good. So there's someone called Commander Aqua. We're gonna go raid this person. Okay. I'm gonna complete this exercise off stream because I'm very much invested in this. But for now, we're gonna go check out this person. Encoders, once again, thank you very much for the raid. Appreciate it. Thanks for bringing your community here, and thanks for hanging out. Anyone else who might have been lurking in the chat, thanks for hanging out. I'll try to stream again tomorrow. We're going to continue doing more of the Pandas course. With that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.